defense along with the Dragoons. Free now coming in with an attack at Bisu's, and I think Bisu could have used the DTs here to actually defeat Free's ground forces and probably make a standard ground assault. As it is, he's limited with those photon cannons, and Free can just lure Bisu's forces out of the range. Now Bisu coming in with the DTs. Observer not yet out for Free, but Free has got a couple more gateways up, and Bisu desperately holding his defense. Free with 5 Dragoons left, Bisu with only the 2, but he still has the photon cannons, and Bisu's now in Free's main, and he's hammering away at the probes, but Bisu's own defense at his natural expo is completely down, and Bisu needs to purchase a couple more DTs to do anything. Free running away with those probes towards his natural expo. Bisu laying tatters to his economy, but Free's going to have an observer popping out at any time now. Meanwhile, Free is taking out Bisu's natural expo. Now Free's got the observer out as well. Bisu chased one of DT being chased away. Free continuing to hammer away at Bisu's natural expo, and Bisu really needs to send a Dark Templar out. Free now with a couple, and you've got to feel that Free's now going to win this game. I've got to say that I feel Free has got a supreme advantage now, because even though Bisu killed some probes, Free's had his natural expo running up for much longer, and Free takes out Bisu's natural expo, and both his DTs go down as well. And Bisu, I'm afraid those Thai sweet chili sensation crisps have been consumed and haven't left you with much, and you're still hungry for more, but unfortunately your mealtime is over, and you're going to be, and looks like Bisu's going to be crashing out of the MSL, folks. The player who was so dominant in the MSL, and who indeed ended Savior's reign of dominance in the MSL, looks like he's going to be succumbing, and really Bisu has no one to blame but himself. He went for a ridiculous strategy that Free was obviously going to counter, and obviously going to be awake to and aware of, and it really, he required Free to make a mistake. I guess Bisu felt he had to go for that sort of build because of the fact that his initial rush didn't work, and that's why he needed something crazy, but it just feels to me like he's thrown this game away here, and I don't see how Bisu's going to be able to recover from this, guys. Free now putting that Citadel 11 on, and all Free has to do is play defensive and macro up and just keep his lead over Bisu, although it is dangerous to let Bisu do that because of his supreme multitasking. He does have that Templar Archives up, so perhaps we could see some sort of storm drop or something coming from Bisu. Bisu now with the DTs roaming around the map, just trying to prevent Free from cementing that advantage, trying to prevent C from taking another expansion. Free meanwhile trying to put that expansion down at the 5 o'clock position, and really it looks like Bisu just not confident in his ability to play a standard game these days. It's just costing him, or he just seems to be stuck in some sort of weird mode, and I'm just not sure why he's doing it and what he expects to gain from it. But Free, I'm sure, is going to be laughing all the way into the losers finals at this rate, but it's not over yet. Bisu still has a chance while Free dillies and dallies and builds up his forces. If Bisu can get some sort of effective harass going with maybe some storm drops, he might have a chance, although I haven't seen a robotics facility go down for Bisu yet. He has got that robotics facility down, he has got the High Templar, so I feel that that's really Bisu's only chance. We know how capable Bisu is of delivering the perfect storm. We saw that versus Jaedong, and really he's gonna need some sort of, I don't know, satellite navigation guided homing missile storms on those probes, and stealth to boot, to have any chance, any hope of taking out Free in this game. Bisu still got the DTs roaming around the map, and that is a slight advantage that he has. He's got this additional scouting information, although Free does have the observers out as well, but Bisu has those DTs, and looks like he's once again heading for that 7 o'clock expo that Free has set up, and Bisu indeed going exactly for what I predicted. He's got the shuttle out, and there is no doubt he's going to be going for a storm drop. That's really the only way he can come back in this game, if he can inflict severe economic damage on his opponent's forces. But again, just look at what Bisu has to defend. He has a handful of Zealots and a photon cannon. If Free had pushed out with the Dragoons, he would have really inflicted severe damage on Bisu and probably finished the game off. I'm not sure, I think that observer was following the shuttle. He's lost track of it, but Free had that observer parked at Bisu's front door, so I'm sure Free's going to see this coming. Free's got High Templar out as well, and really this is just a desperation gamut by Bisu, and Free, I'm sure, is going to be moving those probes out in time. I'm sure he's seen this coming, the shuttle coming, and as soon as the shuttle arrives, he's going to move those probes out. Free's still not moving the probes out. Shuttle taking damage. Storms from Bisu! Perfect storms yet again! Manages to catch a bunch of probes, and that shuttle is going to escape, and meanwhile the Zealots absorbing the damage from the photon cannons, and I've got to say, Free had to have seen that shuttle coming. He shouldn't have lost as many probes as he did. He did pull a lot of his probes out, but I think he lost a decent number of probes there. I don't think it's enough to swing the game back in Bisu's favor, especially since Free is getting that expansion up now at the 7 o'clock position, while Bisu's managed to delay that expansion up to this point in time. So both players with even number of expansions, but Free with a superior ground force and an economy that has been running for much longer than Bisu's, and Bisu needs to continue to harass Free constantly and keep him off balance to prevent him from making that push and finishing him off, because I don't think Bisu has what it takes to hold him off ground for ground. Bisu meanwhile getting his third expansion up as well, trying to narrow the gap, narrow the economic gap between these two players, and it's gonna be a tough race for Bisu to be able to come back in there. Free's got his Archons up as well. Free's still confident, but I think Free is risking a slight overconfidence here, kind of like the US banking sector, which just thought it was completely invulnerable. Free feels right now he's got all the assets, he's got all the loans, he's got all the property, but what he doesn't realize is that there might be some toxic debt hidden in there in the way of Bisu's multitasking, and he's got to be very careful, because otherwise he might find himself in the same place as the world economy is right now, and as his economy is the world's economy. He doesn't want that. So Free finally pushing out. He needs to put the pressure on Bisu. Bisu has taken the higher ground on top of that ramp from where he can defend, and he will be content to let Free try and break against his forces. Free Bisu, Fisu. Sorry guys, that's the most ridiculous combo name I've ever come up with. But Free pushing up now. He's got a decent sized ground force here, but Bisu's got his High Templar in play, and he's on top of that ramp, and it's going to be incredibly difficult, and Free's going to lose his Observer as well. Bisu's going to try and snipe that Observer, and Bisu does snipe that Observer. Free doesn't have Observer. Free coming in with a High Templar first. Free Storm wasted, not hitting anything. 2 Storms on empty air. Now finally managed to land a 3rd Storm on Bisu's forces, but Bisu's Storm catches most of Free's forces in the process, and Bisu with perfect storming on the ramp, using the choke to maximum advantage. This is a 300 style battle by Bisu, putting some elite forces on that choke point where he knows the greater Persian forces must come through, and using that to his advantage, and Free with some careless storms, and I guess Free anticipating that Bisu would have his forces there, and Bisu knew exactly what Free was going to do, because that's what he would have done in that situation, moved his forces out, and Free spent at least 2 storms on empty air, and Bisu's defense held, and that's just bought him that little bit more time that he needs to try and get back in this game, and he did severe damage to Free's forces, although I don't think he actually killed that many units, and Free managed to pull his units back in time. Bisu now coming in for another storm. This time Free has got another photon cannon as well as Dragoon. He's probably going to lose his shuttle. Free pulls the probe back, but Bisu still manages to catch a good number of probes in that attack. I think Bisu killed about another probably half a dozen probes there, another storm, but this time not really hitting anything, and Bisu's continuing to do some damage to Free's economy. Remember, Bisu's economy has not been harassed by Free at all. Free feels that he has the advantage and is continuing to press home that advantage. Bisu now trying to take an expansion. Free circling around, this time to effect an